Announcing the arrival of Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Dato Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah, Chancellor, University of Cyberjaya. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem. Please be seated. Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Dato Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah, Chancellor, University of Cyberjaya. Yang Berbahagia Dato Pahlawan Dr. R. Mohanadas, Deputy Chairman, Board of Governors, University of Cyberjaya. Yang Berbahagia Dato Dr. Hari Krishna K.R. Nair, Director, Hospital Kuala Lumpur. Yang Berusaha Profesor Dr. Muhammad Salmi bin Muhammad Sohud, Chairman, Board of Directors, University Malaysia, Terengganu. Yang Berusaha Dr. Murugaraj Rajaduri, Immediate Past President, Commonwealth Medical Association. Yang Berusaha Professor Technologies Dr. Muhammad Zamri bin Ibrahim, Vice Chancellor, University Malaysia, Terengganu. Yang Berusaha Professor Dr. Francois Terin, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research and Enterprise, University of Cyberjaya. Yang Berusaha Professor Dr. Azrin Ismadi Arifin, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic, University of Cyberjaya. Yang Berusaha Dr. Muralidharan Munasami, Managing Director, National Cancer Society, Malaysia. And Yang Berusaha Professor Dr. Maysam Tabadabadi, Lead Collaborator of the Lancet Countdown and Lead Author of the Lancet Countdown Malaysia Policy Priorities. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Malaysia launch of the Lancet Countdown 2024 report and the 2024 Climate and Health Policy Priorities for Malaysia. This event is co-organized by University of Cyberjaya, University Malaysia Terengganu, and Commonwealth Medical Association in partnership with Lancet Countdown. Now, it is my pleasure to invite Yang Berusaha Professor Dr. Francois Terin, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research and Enterprise, University of Cyberjaya, to deliver the welcome speech. Please welcome him to the stage.
I've got this. Okay, thank you. Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Dato Sri Dr. No Hisham Abdullah, Chancellor, University of Cyberjaya. Yang Berbahagia Dato Palawan Dr. R. Mohanadas, Deputy Chairman, Board of Governors, University of Cyberjaya. Yang Berbahagia Dato Dr. Hari Krishna K.R. Nair, Director, Hospital Kuala Lumpur. Yang Berbahagia Professor Dr. Mohammad Salmi bin Mohamed Sohod, Chairman, Board of Directors, University Malaysia Terengganu. Yang Berusaha Dr. Muruga Rajaturai, former President, Commonwealth Medical Association. Yang Berusaha Professor Technologist Dr. Mohammad Zamri bin Ibrahim, Vice Chancellor, University Malaysia Terengganu. Yang Berusaha Murali Taran Munisami, Managing Director, National Cancer Society Malaysia. Yang Berusaha Professor Dr. Azrin Esmadi Arifin, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic, University of Cyberjaya. Yang Berusaha Professor Dr. Muhammad Ikwanuddin bin Abdullah, Director, Institute for Tropical Aquaculture and Fisheries, University Malaysia Terengganu. And Yang Berusaha Professor Dr. Meisan Tabatabaei, lead collaborator of the Lancet Countdown and lead author of the Lancet Countdown Malaysia Policy Priorities. Good evening, distinguished guests and colleagues. Welcome to the University of Cyberjaya for the Malaysia launch of the 2024 Lancet Countdown Report on Health and Climate Change. This landmark report examines the critical intersection of climate change and human health. The Lancet Countdown represents a remarkable collaboration among 40 academic institutions and UN agencies worldwide. Its mission is to provide evidence-based data and recommendations to protect public health while advancing climate action. The report offers crucial insights into extreme weather events, climate-sensitive diseases, and economic implications of both action and inaction. Malaysia's tropical climate makes us particularly vulnerable to climate-related health risks, including rising temperatures, flooding, and vector-borne diseases like dengue and malaria. These challenges require immediate attention and coordinated response. Today marks also a significant milestone with the signing of an MOU between the University of Cyberjaya, University Malaysia Terengganu, and the Commonwealth Medical Association. This partnership will advance research in climate change mitigation, health system threatening, and food security. Universities play a crucial role in addressing these challenges. The University of Cyberjaya is committed to fostering education, research, and dialogue that generate innovative solutions. Our distinguished speakers will share valuable insight that can shape Malaysia's climate and health policy. And of course, we look forward to our Chancellor's keynote address, which will officially launch the report and outline climate and health policies priority for Malaysia. His leadership continues to bridge the gaps between science, policy, and public health. This evening represents more than just a report launch. It's a celebration of unity and shared purpose. The Lancet Countdown reminds us that planetary health and human health are inseparable. Through collaborations across disciplines, institutions, and borders, we can build a healthier, more sustainable future. Thank you very much for your presence and commitment to this vital cause. I wish you an inspiring and productive evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Francois Terin, for your warm welcoming remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite Yang Berusaha, Professor Technologist Dr. Mohammad Zamri bin Ibrahim, Vice Chancellor, University Malaysia Terengganu, to share his speech. Please welcome him to the stage.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good evening and salam sejahtera. Yang berbahagia Tan Sri Datuk Seri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah, Chancellor University of Cyberjaya. Yang berbahagia Datuk Pahlawan Dr. R. Mohannadas, Deputy Chairman, Board of Governors, University of Cyberjaya. Yang berbahagia Datuk Dr. Hari Krishna K. Abner, Director Hospital Kuala Lumpur. Yang berusaha Profesor Dr. Muhammad Salmi bin Muhammad Sohud, Chairman, Board of Directors, University Malaysia Terengganu. Yang berusaha Dr. Muruga Rajachurai, former President, Commonwealth Medical Association. Yang berusaha Muralitaran Munisami, Managing Director, National Cancer Society Malaysia. Yang berusaha Profesor Dr. Francois Sterin, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research and Enterprise, University of Cyberjaya. Yang berusaha Profesor Dr. Azrin Esmadi Arifin, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic, University of Cyberjaya. Yang berusaha Profesor Dr. Muhammad Ikhwanuddin bin Abdullah, Director, Institute of Tropical Aquaculture and Fisheries, Aquatrop, University Malaysia Terengganu. Yang berusaha Profesor Marinah binti Arifin, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research and Innovation, University Malaysia Terengganu. Yang berusaha Profesor Dr. Mesam Tabatabir, lead collaborator of the Lancet Countdown and lead author of the Lancet Countdown, Malaysia Policies Priorities. It is my distinct honor and privilege to extend a warm welcome to each of you to the Malaysia launch of the Lancet Countdown 2024 report and the Lancet Countdown Malaysia Policy Priorities 2024. This event marks an important milestone not only for Malaysia, but also for the global conversation on climate change, food security, and health. For 5 years, the University of Malaysia Terengganu has had the privilege of hosting and co-organizing this prestigious event in partnership with the Lancet Countdown. This year, we are thrilled to welcome the University of Cyberjaya as a co-organizer, as well as the Commonwealth Medical Association, whose collaboration began last year. Together, we are demonstrating the power of collective action in addressing the most pressing issues of our time. As a university deeply committed to sustainability and food security, UMT is proud to contribute to advancement of research and policy that mitigate the impact of climate change on Malaysia's ecosystems and its people. The findings in the Lancet Countdown 2024 report and the Lancet Countdown Malaysia Policy Priorities 2024 are a call to action for all of us to protect the health of our environment, our communities, and future generations. This year's MOU signing ceremony further strengthens our shared vision of working across 3 critical pillars, namely climate change, food security, and health. These pillars are at the heart of Malaysia's sustainable development goals and align with UMT's mission as a national hub for marine science and food security research. I would like to take this opportunity to extend my gratitude to the organizing committee, the Lancet Countdown team, and our distinguished partners for their unwavering commitment to this cause. I also wish to acknowledge the tremendous leadership of Tan Sri, Datuk Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah, whose guidance continues to inspire us all. Ladies and gentlemen, let us seize this moment to deepen our collaboration and reaffirm our commitment to building a healthier, more sustainable Malaysia. I look forward to the fruitful discussions and initiatives that will emerge from this event. Thank you, and I wish you all an engaging and inspiring evening. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Muhammad Zamri Ibrahim, for your insightful remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, we now proceed to a presentation on the Lancet Countdown 2024 report, highlighting its key finding and their implication on the global scenario. We will begin the presentation with an address by Yang Berusaha Dr. Marina Romanello, Executive Director, Lancet Countdown.
Hello, colleagues. Thank you so much for having me here in the launch event of the 2024 report of the Lancet Countdown for Malaysia. Thank you particularly to Tan Sri, Datuk Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah, to Professor Mohd Samri bin Ibrahim, to Dr. Muruga Raj Rasaturai, to Professor David Whitford, and of course to my wonderful colleague and Lancet Countdown Report co-author, Professor Maysam Tabatabai. Today, I'm going to share with you some of the findings of the latest report of the Lancet Countdown, which we published just ahead of COP29, and is the 8th in the annual iterations of the indicators of the Lancet Countdown. This report is the product of an enormous amount of work and effort from 122 climate scientists, researchers, and contributors from around the world, from 57 contributing organizations, and delivered in close partnership with the World Health Organization. The main finding that comes from this, our 8th annual indicator report, is that the changing climate is posing record high levels of threats to people's health and survival all around the world. And in fact, we see that 2/3 of the 15 indicators in which we're monitoring the evolving climate change related health impacts, hazards, and exposures have reached a record new level of threat in the latest year of data. To give you some examples of what this looks like, we're seeing, for example, a record high level of estimated heat-related mortality of people over 65 years of age. These adult populations being particularly vulnerable to extreme heat exposure, to the health threats of heat exposure due to their lower thermoregulatory capacity, and generally the high incidence of underlying chronic health conditions. We see that heat-related mortality in this age group has increased by an estimated 167% since the 1990s. And this is mostly driven by the growing temperature and is much more than the 65% increase that we would have expected if temperatures hadn't changed. Obviously, heat-related mortality being just the tip of the iceberg, with heat exposure being also associated with a big exacerbation of underlying health conditions and an associated increase in morbidity due to heat exposure. But it's not only temperatures that are rising, we're also seeing that with climate change, precipitation patterns are changing. And as a result of this, we see that the number of days of very extreme rainfall have increased in 61% of the global land area from previous decades, with these very extreme precipitation days increasing the risk of flash flood events, putting our infrastructure at risk, and deteriorating also health through increased exposure to contaminated water and more suitable conditions for the transmission of pathogens. These extreme precipitation events are happening also in a context in which drought events are becoming more frequent, lengthier, more intense. So these two things are happening oftentimes simultaneously, and we're seeing that almost 50% of the global land area saw in 2023 at least 1 month of extreme drought events, up from an average of just 15% in the 1950s. As you can see there on screen, we're seeing South America, many parts of Africa, some parts of Southeast Asia and South Asia being very strongly affected by extreme drought events, which obviously put crop productivity and as a result, food security at risk. They threaten water security, they threaten sanitation, increasing the risk of transmission of infectious diseases, and they also threaten other infrastructural characteristics, like, for example, they undermine fluvial transport, they threaten energy production, and they have widespread impacts on people's well-being, on people's health, and on people's livelihoods. So this change in the in heat exposure and precipitation patterns are simultaneously starting to affect the transmission of infectious diseases, and we see that the environmental suitability for the transmission of deadly diseases like dengue or vibrio pathogens is increasing globally, and we're seeing the expansion of many of these diseases to new parts of the world, exposing new populations to pathogens from which they were relatively protected some years back, putting more pressure, obviously, on our health systems. So these are just some of the examples of what our indicators are showing us. As I said, we have many, many more indicators, but all in all, what it's showing is that climate change is increasing the threats that people are facing from many different aspects of the health impacts of climate change, and putting extra pressure to our health systems, considering also that adaptation to climate change is lagging, that we're not advancing nearly enough to protect our health systems and people's health and well-being from these growing threats. But it's not the first time that we raise the alarm on the growing health impacts of climate change. We've been doing this for many years, but unfortunately what we do find is that governments and companies continue to fuel the fire, continue to increase their emissions of greenhouse gases, increasingly putting people's well-being and health and survival at risk from exacerbating climate change related impacts. And as an example, we're seeing, if we look at the energy system, the biggest single contributor to greenhouse gas emissions and to climate change, emissions from the energy system are continuing to rise, very far from falling. They have reached record new high levels in 2022. So we're increasingly pumping global warming gases into our atmosphere, and as a result, increasing the threats to people's health. But apart from contributing to exacerbating climatic changes, the lack of or the very delayed transition to clean, renewable energies that could help us tackle climate change has other direct consequences on people's health and well-being as well. For example, we see that people around the world are still very highly dependent on the use of fossil fuels and other dirty fuels to meet their energy needs. For example, we see that globally 2.4 billion people around the world still rely on dirty fuels and inefficient technologies to meet their household energy needs. 30% of households around the world still rely on biomass to meet their energy needs. And this percentage grows to 92% of households in low human development index countries. And what this means is that to meet the energy needs for carrying a healthy life, people are still turning to very dirty, very ineffective, very unreliable sources of energy. The burning of biomass is a symptom, or the dependence on biomass is a symptom of energy poverty that has widespread impacts on people's health and well-being. And that also leads to high levels of air pollution that is associated with the burning of biomass, with the burning of fossil fuels in cases where that is still the main source of energy and of other dirty fuels. And as a result, we're seeing that people are being exposed to very high levels of air pollution derived from from the burning of dirty fuels inside their homes. We estimate that in 2020, the burning of solid household fuels has led to 2.3 million premature deaths across 65 countries alone. new renewables. We're seeing that employment in the renewable energy sector is growing, and we're seeing important shifts in what this means for health. So I wanted to point you towards two of what we find the most encouraging findings. One of them being that efforts to reduce coal-related burning and coal-related pollution have been a huge driving force in the reduction of mortality associated with fossil fuel-derived outdoor air pollution. Fossil fuel-derived outdoor air pollution has fell by almost 7% since 2016, and almost 60% of this decline was due to efforts to reduce the air pollution coming from coal burning. So this demonstrates how many lives we can save and how effective it can be to tackle fossil fuel and dirty fuel related air pollution in terms of providing people with cleaner air, reducing the morbidity associated with air pollution, and saving lives every year. And the other area where we find very encouraging progress is, of course, in the engagement of the health sector with climate change. We're seeing particularly that WHO has now turned its attention and its focus on climate change action with its General Program of Work 14. And we're seeing also that the Alliance of Transformative Action on Climate and Health has now brought countries together to accelerate action from the health system on tackling climate change. And as a result, we've seen this very big increase in the number of countries undertaking assessments of their climate change related health vulnerabilities and adaptation needs, the V&A assessments, with just 11 countries reporting having completed their V&A assessments in 2022 against 50 countries declaring having completed them in 2023. And more countries, national health systems having developed health national adaptation plans, a number that grew from just 4 countries in 2022 to 43 countries in 2023. So health systems from countries around the world are increasingly evaluating their health adaptation needs and increasingly making plans to properly protect populations from the growing health hazards, really encouraging trends. Of course, we would want to see this being the 100% of countries, and there's a lot more work to be done. There's a lot more work to ensure that health systems have the necessary resources to increase adaptation measures and avoid the worst health impacts of climate change on people's health. And of course, to very radically accelerate our decarbonization efforts, our efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, to ensure that we keep global heating within the boundaries of what we can still adapt and cope with. So there's a lot more to be done and a very central role to be played by health and healthcare professionals in terms of ensuring that we are, in fact, acting to tackle climate change, to delivering a safer, healthier future for people all around the world, and to ensure that our health systems are also well equipped and well protected to face the threats of climate change. So with that, I thank you so much for your attention, and I know that Professor Tabatabai will now focus a bit more on what our findings are showing and say a few more things about what's happening in Malaysia and what we see in our work for Malaysia. And I invite you to look at the lancetcountdown.org, our webpage, for more information where you can also explore our indicators in more detail. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you particularly to the Lancet and to Wellcome that has enabled this work. And thank you so much to you for joining this event today.
Thank you, Dr. Marina, for the comprehensive information on Lancet Countdown 2024 report. Ladies and gentlemen, we now turn our attention to a topic of critical importance, facing record-breaking threats from delayed action by Yang Berusaha Professor Dr. Maysam Tabatabai, lead collaborator, Lancet Countdown in Malaysia, and professor at University Malaysia Terengganu. Please welcome him to the stage.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor to have the opportunity to be with you today. Tansari Hisham, Professor Salmi, Professor Zamri, Professor Francis, Professor Marina, Dr. Muruga Raj, and other high-profile members of the Board of Directors of University of Cyberjaya and University of Malaysia Terengganu, And key health professional here, we have distinguished directors who have honored us by joining us today. So Marina tried to walk you through some of the key messages of the Lancet Countdown 2024 report. And I have the opportunity and honor to walk you through some of them which might be of interest to the Malaysian community. So I'm delighted to let you know that this year we have also developed policy priorities and country data sheet for Malaysia for the first time, country data sheet, but we have done this for over 50 countries this year. So Marina informed you about heat waves, which is the most immediate result of climate change. As you can see here, all around the world, the exposure to heat waves is exacerbating. So more people are exposed to heat waves and more percent days that's happening. So every person on average is exposed to around 14 heat wave days per person. It's a huge increase compared to the baseline scenario that we have developed, and that is for 2023. And it's important to understand that the vulnerable population, people over age of 65 and the newborn, the infants, are the most vulnerable to heat waves. And this is for Malaysia. This is specific data for Malaysia. From 2014 to 2023, each infant and adult over age of 65 was exposed to an average of 10 to 11 heat wave days per year, about 9 additional days compared to the baseline 1986-2005. Within the same period of time, the total number of heat wave days experienced annually by children under the age of 1 was 6.5 times higher than the equivalent demographic from 1986-2005. Adults experienced the same, and that number was 12.5 times higher than the baseline. So on a yearly basis, we are being exposed to increasing heat waves, and heat waves, everybody here, I think, got medical expertise, and heat waves affect our body through different mechanisms, including kidney failure, cardiovascular problems, and can lead to death. But that's not all. We are losing our labor capacity as a result of exposure to heat waves. Our capacity to work is affected by temperature and humidity, particularly in highly active jobs, such as agriculture and manufacturing. A record high 512 billion work hours were lost due to heat exposure in 2023. This is global. Around 50% above the baseline 1990-1999. And unfortunately, workers in low and medium Human Development Index, HDI countries, were worse affected, losing an average 221 and 291 potential work hours per week, per worker in 2023, compared to 89 and 41 potential work hours per worker in high and very high countries, HDI countries. So the poorer countries are being more affected. The countries which are not contributing to climate change, they are most affected, and that's the irony here. And that's about Malaysia. We lost 2.7 billion hours of effective work in the year 2023. There was an increase of over 75% compared to the baseline 1990-1999. Now everybody can do the math here. 2.7 billion hours lost only in 1 year, and I'm going to share with you the monetized value of this number later. Heat-related mortality. This is an interesting global map here. People are dying as a result of exposure as well, and that's sort of a silent death because it's not reported anywhere in the news. So I already told you that extreme of heat can lead to stress, heat stroke, heart disease, and acute kidney injury, and eventually death. And I told you that people over 65 years of age and below 1 year are most affected. In 2023, ladies and gentlemen, heat-related death among adults over 65 reached the highest level in the recorded history, 167% higher than the baseline 1990-1999. And this was double the 65% increase expected if temperature hadn't changed from the 1990s. And you can see here, I have marked our region. Malaysia is among the red countries in red. And this is something I think this is a concern shared by many, climate suitability for infectious disease transmission. Marina touched this issue in one of her slides. I am bringing to you the data for Malaysia here. You can see here that the climate suitability of the transmission of dengue, something that literally everybody in our country is afraid of, has increased substantially, 18.6% in the year 2014-2023 compared to the baseline 1951-1960. While we have been trying to control dengue, while we have been investing in eradicating dengue, everything we have done can be undone if the trend continues to go on as it is. It's not only dengue, the suitability of the transmission of malaria is also increasing. The suitability of transmission of Vibrio is also increasing. And these are serious threats to our public health in the future. Another important indicator is food security and undernutrition. Food insecurity is on the rise globally. Globally, over 700 million people were undernourished in 2023, and close to 3 billion people were unable to afford healthy diets. That's almost 1/3 of the global population. The higher frequency of heat wave days and drought in 2022 compared to the baseline 1981-2010 was associated with 151 million more people experiencing moderate to severe food insecurity across 124 countries that we investigated. Now it's time to talk about money, how much we are losing as a result of these tragedies. This is the cost of heat-related mortality alone. $199 billion, close to $200 billion, we lost in the year 2019-2023 compared to the baseline 2000-2004. This is close to 200% increase in the monetized value associated with heat-related mortality. I shared with you that heat waves are causing us to lose our capacity to work. And I shared with you how much Malaysia is undergoing. So here you can see the loss of earning from heat-related reduction in labor capacity. The numbers are mind-blowing. $835 billion in 2023. That's the money we lost globally. And I'm going to share how much we lost in Malaysia. The agriculture sector, which is one of the most important sectors for us in Malaysia, was the worst affected. And they lost plenty of the incomes, the farmers. And here is Malaysia. So the economic impact of heat is brought to you here. 2.7 billion potential hours, I told you already, lost as a result. And agriculture and construction workers were hit the hardest, seeing 33% and 32% of the potential hours lost, and 20%, 25%, and 39% of the potential income lost in 2023, respectively. So when the agriculture sector is hit hard, then we should expect growing food insecurity. Mortality from ambient air pollution by sector. Global death attributable to particulate matter 2.5, PM 2.5, from fossil fuel combustion decreased globally around 7%, but still 2 million people died in 2023 as a result of exposure to PM 2.5. Just divide 2 billion by 365, and you'll see a huge number of people losing their lives every day as a result of such an exposure. And this is the cost of health impact of air pollution. I mean, you are not going to believe your eyes when you read this number. I told you that 2 million people dying, right, every year, 2023. How much this has cost humanity? Close to $5 trillion. As a result of premature death, we are suffering because of exposure to fossil fuel combustion particulate matters. Okay, and then some people might ask why this is happening, why we are not progressing, why we are going just plateauing, stagnating. This is the reason. Because of net value of fossil fuels, because of the subsidies we are giving to fossil fuels. Fossil fuel subsidies provide incentives for health-harming emissions and a low carbon transition, and these carbon prices are the main culprit. Out of 86 countries we studied in 2022, 72 countries are heavily subsidizing fossil fuel, amounting to $1.4 trillion. The value of the resulting net subsidies exceed the entire national health budget of 23 of these countries. So we spend more on subsidizing fossil fuel than improving our healthcare system. And this is for Malaysia. In 2022, Malaysia had a net negative carbon revenue, meaning that we have subsidized fossil fuel for a value of $16.8 billion. That's the amount of money we spend in 1 year encouraging people to use more fossil fuel. When a country subsidizes fossil fuel very, very directly, they are hampering the transition toward renewable energies because the competition is not fair anymore. So we are growing our renewable energy capacity, but as long as fossil fuels are heavily subsidized in the country, we are actually diminishing the opportunity for the renewable energy sector to grow. We are diminishing the opportunity for low carbon transition. We are not advising governments to remove subsidies altogether. We advise gradual reduction of subsidies while spreading safety net all around the country in order to protect the most vulnerable parts of the population economically or financially. And this is what many countries have been doing. We strongly believe that the Malaysian government is on the right track. And we see how the policies have been developed, but we hope that in the future we will see more serious actions and more effective safety net for the most vulnerable in order for them not to be affected by the growing prices. I'm gonna end my talk with the same key messages Marina presented. These are the 3 key messages that we put in the Lancet Countdown 2024 report. People all around the world are facing record-breaking threat to their well-being, health, and survival from the rapidly changing climate. The second one, which is disappointing, is that government and companies continue fueling the fire, increasing the risk to the health and survival of people worldwide. And finally, some evidence of progress showcases the opportunities to build an equitable and healthy future, but funding needs to be urgently redirected to action that benefit people's health and well-being. One more time, I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to University of Cyberjaya and to Commonwealth Medical Association for the valuable collaboration with my home university, University of Malaysia Terengganu, for organizing this event. I would like to thank you all for honoring us by attending this ceremony. I would like to extend my appreciation to my colleagues at the Lancet Countdown, over 300 of us working together throughout the year to develop this report. And I would like to thank Wellcome Trust for providing us unrestricted access to funds to do this research, and of course the Lancet for providing us with the platform to publish our report. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the event.
Thank you, Professor Dr. Maysam, for sharing the critical insights. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my honor to invite Yang Berusaha Dr. Murugaraj Rajaduri, immediate past president, Commonwealth Medical Association, and past president, Malaysia Medical Association. Please welcome him to the stage.
Yang berbahagia, Tan Sri Datuk Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah, Chancellor University of Cyberjaya. Yang berbahagia, Datuk Pahlawan Dr. R. Mohandas. Yang berusaha Profesor Dr. Muhammad Salmi bin Muhammad Sohud. Yang berusaha Profesor Dr. Muhammad Zamri bin Ibrahim. Yang berusaha Mulidaran Munisami. Yang berusaha Profesor Dr. Frankios Terin. Yang berusaha Profesor Dr. Azrin Esmadi Arifin, yang berusaha Profesor Dr. Muhammad Iqwa Nudin bin Abdullah, my very good friend, President Malaysian Medical Association, Dr. Kawinda Khaira, yang berusaha Profesor Dr. Maysam Tabatabai. Very good evening to everyone. It's great to be here again. Actually with the Lancet, this is my third launch with Professor Tabatabai. We did one last year in UITM, and the one before that was in MMA House. I'd like to thank Dr. Marina and Professor Dr. Mason for their report. One report told us what's wrong, and another report is telling us where we have to address. It's an honor and a privilege to address this distinguished gathering on behalf of the Commonwealth Medical Association and its current president, Professor Dr. Jailal, who has sent his warmest greetings and heartfelt regrets for not being able to be here with us in person. I'm humbled to represent CMA, an organization committed to improving health across 56 member nations through collaborations and innovations. What was so important that CMA and Lancet had to get together is 56 countries, and actually Lancet is helping me so much, provide me that data, that evidence that I need. And this is a little bit about Commonwealth countries. Okay, this is what we are. 56 independent countries make up the Commonwealth in Africa, Asia, America, Europe, and the Pacific. Different landscape, different health landscape, different economy landscape, different climate, and I need help from people like Professor Mason and Lancet to give me data that we need. We have 33 of the world's 42 smallest states, each with a population of 1.5 million or less. I just attended Chogam in Samoa. The population is only about 180,000 people in that island, and they are facing a lot of climate change issues. We discussed this in Chogam. So there are 2.7 billion citizens live in Commonwealth. So whatever we do here, like Professor Mason and Lancet have actually given you the Malaysia report, same way they've given me report in Kenya, report in Sri Lanka, India, and so Ghana, right? So I'm with their report, we can actually reach out to about 2.7 billion citizens, and I'm sure this will change people's life. Ladies and gentlemen, the Commonwealth Medical Association has long recognized the inextricable link between climate change and public health. The Lancet Countdown 2024 report makes this connection clear, illustrating how the health of our planet directly impacts the health of its people. So the Commonwealth, we have got common goals and values. Whether you are a big country or a small country, everybody has got a say there. And it was very evident in the Chogam when I went there for the Chogam and I saw the heads of government. discussing, but whether you were from a small island or you were from the United Kingdom, everybody had their say in the meeting. So with this type, we are going bravely for this type of meetings also because of the work that Lancet and other NGOs do to give us data-based. No, we need evidence. Climate change was one of the main topics that was discussed in CHOGM. This was CHOGM 2024. Our foreign minister had also come there, and they all had also had all these topics to discuss. We can help. We can definitely help. All of us play our role as doctors, as a good citizen, and after listening to Professor Mason, I'm sure every one of us are scared for our future generation. If we don't do something now, our grandchildren and the future generation will suffer. It is not me and you alone, but it has to be a collaborative effort. Everybody, associations, medical organizations, doctors, governments, they all have to work together. This is my boss, and even he speaks about it. When we came to the CHOGM, even he spoke about it. But this photo is just to show off a little bit. I can see Dr. Mohandas laughing there. But anyway, he actually addresses issues like this when they come to the CHOGM meeting. I'm sure all of us want to listen to our hero, pandemic hero, Tan Sri Dato Sri Dr. Noor Hisham. Tan Sri, forever you will be remembered by all of us for the work that you did in the pandemic and how you steered us out of the pandemic, and we were doing better than many countries. Thank you, Tan Sri. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Murugaras Rajaduri, for your instrumental and forward-thinking address. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our distinct honor to invite Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Dato Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah, Chancellor, University of Cyberjaya, to deliver the keynote address. Please welcome him to the stage.
Thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang Berbahagia Professor Insinyur Dr. Muhammad Zamri bin Ibrahim, Vice Chancellor of the University of Malaysia, Terengganu. Yang Berbahagia Professor Dr. Muhammad Salmi bin Muhammad Sohud, Chairman Board of Directors, University of Malaysia, Terengganu. Yang Berbahagia Professor Dr. Francois Erin, Deputy Vice Chancellor Research and Enterprise, University of Cyberjaya. Yang Berbahagia Professor Dr. Azrin Esmadi Arifin, Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, University of Cyberjaya. Yang Berbahagia Datuk Pahlawan Dr. Mohandas Ramasamy, Deputy Chairman, Board of Directors, University of Cyberjaya. Yang Berusaha Datuk Dr. Hari Krishna, Director Hospital Kuala Lumpur. Yang Berusaha Dr. Murali Taran, Managing Director of the National Cancer Society. Yang Berusaha Dr. Murugaras Rajaturai, Immediate Past President of Commonwealth Medical Association. Yang Berbahagia Dr. Marina Romanello, Executive Director of Lancet Countdown. Yang Berbahagia Professor Dr. Maysam Tabatabai, Lead Collaborator of the Lancet Countdown in Malaysia and Lead Author of the Malaysia Policy Priorities 2024. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera and a very good evening. It is both a privilege and honor to stand before you at this significant occasion, the Malaysia launch of the Lancet Countdown 2024 report and the Malaysia Policy Priorities 2024. Today we are here not just to witness the unveiling of the critical research, but to reaffirm our collective commitment to addressing some of the most pressing challenges of our time, climate change, food security, and health. Ladies and gentlemen, the nexus between climate change and public health is undeniable. Rising temperature, extreme weather events, shifting disease patterns are no longer distant threat, but urgent realities affecting millions worldwide, including here in Malaysia. From dengue outbreaks exacerbated by changing weather patterns to the increased risks posed to vulnerable populations during heat waves and floods, the impact of climate change on health are far-reaching. The Lancet Committee and the Lancet Countdown 2024 report serve as a stark reminder of the urgent need for action. It highlights the necessity of integrating health into climate policies, recognizing that a healthy population is essential for a resilient nation. The Malaysia Policy Priorities 2024, developed as part of this initiative, provide a roadmap tailored to our national context, addressing areas where we must act swiftly and decisively. This year's theme is particularly timely as it aligns with our national commitment to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal. Climate change mitigation and adaptation enhance food security and improve public health systems are integral to achieving these goals. Through the Memorandum of Understanding signed today, the University of Cyberjaya, University Malaysia Terengganu, and the Commonwealth Medical Association are paving the way for groundbreaking collaborations that embody the spirit of this sustainable development goal. As Malaysia's former Director General of Health, I witnessed firsthand the profound impact that collective action can have during the pandemic COVID-19. We need to leverage on all the lessons learned during the pandemic to strengthen our health system to be more resilient in future. The lesson learned during the pandemic and the challenging time is about the importance of unity, data-driven decision-making, and global cooperation, which are equally relevant to fight against climate change. We have the expertise, we have the resources and commitment to lead by example. But we need to come together, and together we can overcome all obstacles and make the impossible possible. For the first time during the pandemic, the crisis, it is an opportunity for us to knock down the wall between the public sector and private sector. More important, we need to work locally and regionally so as to address the common issue. Now, as the Chancellor of the University of Cyberjaya, I am proud of the role of this institution in advancing research and education on climate and health. But this is a shared responsibility that requires collaboration across all sectors of the society. And I believe that if we work together, coming together is the beginning, but more important, we have to come up with intervention and positive resolution. How can we strike the balance between the current issues and challenges and mitigate the issues of climate change in time to come? This event is not just about highlighting problems, but about showcasing solutions and intervention. It is also about fostering partnership, investing in innovative research, creating policies that prioritize the well-being of our people and the health of our planet. I would like to take this responsibility. I would like to take this responsibility together. I think coming together and share the responsibility to extend my deep gratitude to the Lancet Countdown, the organizing committee and our partners for their tireless effort in making this launch possible. This is an important responsibility, shared responsibility among us. If we do not address this issue, no action is an action. Therefore, we must come together to brainstorm and come up with solution, not only addressing the problem, and how can we move forward the solution and transcend the solution into policies and implementation in time to come. Your work is vital and your dedication inspires hope for tomorrow. To the younger generation here today, I urge you to carry forward the torch of sustainability and innovation. The future of Malaysia and indeed the world depends on actions that we take today. Let us seize this opportunity and moment and work together to create a legacy of resilience, equity, and health for generations to come. In conclusion, let us recognize that our shared humanity binds us in this fight. I think COVID-19 have taught us to come together. I think that's first formula, coming together to address the problem. This is the common issues that we have, and we need to come and decide how can we come up with creative ideas and innovation and to mitigate the climate change. And how do we strike the balance, the current issues and problems today, and how are we transcend and transform our healthcare system and our resilience in our health system for a better tomorrow in time. So I'm sure by embracing collaboration, creative ideas and innovation, compassion, we can overcome the challenges before us and build a healthier, more sustainable Malaysia to come. Today we are challenged not only climate crisis, health crisis, we also face economic crisis, social crisis, and the worst is political crisis. Having said that, I think again, more importantly that we come together to have discussion, positive discussion, and come up with creative ideas in solution and intervention to make a difference in our health in this country. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, I'll thank you for all your attendance today, and thank you very much, for your contribution, more so to the Lancet Committee, and I'm sure that this is just the beginning, and we can make a big difference in healthcare in time to come. Sekian, wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Tan Sri, for your empowering address. May I kindly ask you to remain on stage for the preceding event. We now proceed to the signing of Memorandum of Understanding. I would like to invite the following signatories for the signing ceremony. Yang Berusaha Professor Dr. Francois Terin, Yang Berbahagia Professor Technologist Dr. Muhammad Zamri bin Ibrahim, Yang Berusaha Dr. Murugaraj Rajadurai. And also, I would like to call upon Yang Berusaha Professor Dr. Azrin Esmadi Arifin and Yang Berusaha Professor Dr. Muhammad Salmi bin Muhammad Suhud to witness this significant moment on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, this MOU is based on 3 critical pillars: climate change, food security, and public health. This signifies the joint commitment of University of Cyberjaya, University Malaysia Terengganu, and Commonwealth Medical Association to address climate change, food security, and public health in Malaysia. Congratulations and a round of applause to all partners on this meaningful collaboration. I would like to request all dignitaries to remain on stage. We will now proceed to unveil the 2024 climate and health policy priorities for Malaysia. I invite Yang Berbahagia Dato' Pahlawan Dr. R. Mohanadas, Yang Berbahagia Dato' Dr. Hari Krishna K.R. Nair, Yang Berusaha Dr. Muralidharan Munisami, Yang Berusaha Profesor Dr. Muhammad Ikhwanuddin bin Abdullah, Yang Berusaha Profesor Dr. Maysam Tabatabe, to join us on stage for this special moment. And we will also love to invite Dato' Suraida together on stage. We will now witness Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Dato' Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah and Yang Berusaha Professor Dr. Muhammad Salmi bin Muhammad Sohod to unveil the 2024 climate and health policy priorities for Malaysia. Please do us the honor. Thank you for this remarkable moment. We will now proceed with a gift-giving ceremony. May I call upon Yang Berusaha, Professor Dr. Francois Terin, to present a token of appreciation to Yang Berusaha, Dr. Murugaraj Rajadure, President Commonwealth Medical Association and past President Malaysia Medical Aid Association. May I call upon Yang Berusaha, Professor Technologist Dr. Muhammad Zamri bin Ibrahim, Vice Chancellor, University Malaysia Terengganu, to receive a gift from University of Cyberjaya. And I now understand that University Malaysia Terengganu likes to return the gift-giving ceremony to University of Cyberjaya and followed by Commonwealth Medical Association. Ladies and gentlemen, as an extended effort to the sustainable climate action, University of Cyberjaya has committed to plant trees in the name of each of our honored guests. Professor Dr. Muhammad Salmi bin Muhammad Sohod, Dr. Murugaraj Rajadurai, Professor Technologies Dr. Muhammad Zamri bin Ibrahim, Professor Dr. Muhammad Ikwanuddin bin Abdullah, and Professor Dr. Maysam Tabatabe. Thank you again to all our dignitaries. May I kindly request everyone to return to your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, to celebrate this major accomplishment, we will enjoy live performance by University of Cyberjaya's talented student. And I would like to request everyone to join for a group photo session after the live performances. Please welcome Hani Junaidi, Ken Somongsong, and Christina on stage.
Karena cinta ini ada rasa sakitnya, namun tak pernah tersingkap apa obatnya. Ku pasti cinta kadang membuat merana. Mungkin kau tidak merasa apa yang ku rasa. Kamu terus lewati setiap mimpi-mimpiku. Kamu terus merasuk dalam jiwa ragaku. Jika kau rasa ini cinta, kan ku pastikan hidupmu lebih sempurna. Karena melihat senyummu bisa menggulirkan air mataku dan lebih membahagiakanku. Hanya tak mampu ku pendam segala rasa. Rasa tertulis dari suara irama. Setiap raga pasti tersimpan rahasia. Biar tiada yang tahu kamu ku cinta. Kamu selalu lewati setiap mimpi-mimpiku. Kamu terus merasuk dalam jiwa ragaku. Jika kau rasa redup kasih kita, jangan berpaling darinya. Biarkan untuk selamanya. Hindari antara redup dan resah kita. Jangan ada yang rebah. Ini janji kita. Jika kau rasa ini cinta, kan ku pastikan hidupmu lebih sempurna, karena melihat senyummu bisa menggulirkan air mataku dan membahagiakanku. Jika kau rasa ini cinta, kan ku pastikan hidupmu lebih sempurna, karena melihat senyummu bisa menggulirkan air mataku dan lebih membahagiakanku. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Hani Junaida. This is an original song sung by her sister from Brunei. Next, we will have Ken Somong Song on stage.
Hello. Setiap nafas yang dihembus, setiap degupan jantung, aku selalu memikirkanmu. Dalam gelap, di buayangan, dalam tidur dan hayalan, aku selalu memikirkanmu. Ternyata ku perlukan cinta dari dirimu, sayang, barulah terasa ku bernyawa. Kasihku, ku amat mencintai kamu, karena kau beri arti hidup. Ku kan terus mencinta sedetik lebih. Selepas selamanya, jikalau penuh ketakutan dengan badai kehidupan, ku bersyukur adanya kamu. Biarlah kehilangan semua yang dimiliki di dunia, asal masih adanya kamu. Ternyata ku perlukan cinta dari dirimu, sayang, barulah terasa ku bernyawa. Mencinta sedetik lebih. Selepas selamanya. terus mencinta sedetik lebih. Kasihku, ku amat mencintai kamu, karena kau beri arti hidup. Ku kan terus mencinta sedetik lebih. Sampai selamanya. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken Samangsong. He's our top performer of University of Cyberjaya. Next, I would like to invite Christina for her performance.
Yeah, looks like we made it. Look how far we've come, my baby. We might have took the long way. We knew we'd get there someday. They said, I bet they'll never make it. But just look at us holding on. We're still together, still going strong. You're still the one I run to, the one that I belong to. You're still the one I want for life. You're still the one that I love, the only one I dream of. You're still the one I kiss goodnight. Ain't nothing better. We beat the odds together. I'm glad we didn't listen. Look at what we would be missing. They said, I bet they'll never make it. But just look at us holding on. We're still together, still going strong. Yeah, you're still the one I run to, the one that I belong to. You're still the one I want for life. Hey, you're still the one that I love, the only one I dream of. You're still the one I kiss goodnight. You're still the one. Yeah, you're still the one I run to, the one that I belong to. You're still the one I want for life. You're still the one that I love, the only one I dream of. You're still the one I kiss goodnight. I'm so glad we made it. Look how far we've come, my baby. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina, for the wonderful performance. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of our today's event. Before we end, we would like to take a group photo. Kindly turn your attention to our photographer. Can we have a C? It represents University of Cyberjaya.